Hey everybody, it's Garrett and Katie. One more time. But once again it's Meershaum Monday still. I am still smoking my Meershaum bowl with on my Falcon. And I have Holger Dansk Black and Bourbon in it.
My MBSD Meershaum with some Mac Bear and 7 Seas in it.
And this video is a VR to Skylar, North Georgia Piper, for his 250 plus sub giveaway. Now, Skylar wanted to know about the history of a place you've lived. I don't tend to research a whole bunch of the places I've lived, but this one, you couldn't live there and not know a little bit. And this might shock some people I haven't told, but I did live in Pennsylvania for a while. And the town that I lived in is quite small. I'll give you some of the stats on it before I even say its name. The entire town is 1.4 square miles. There is 1.36 square miles of land and 0.06 square miles of water. It is 879 feet above sea level.
How many people live there?
Well, I had to pull up Wikipedia, and according to them, at one point, 10,725 people live there.
In how many square miles?
1.42.
No.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
It's a lot of old school row homes, and the town is called Vandergrift, Pennsylvania. And the biggest landmark in Vandergrift, besides whatever corner restaurant establishment you might be frequenting, is the steel mill. And I didn't know much of the history about it. I just knew it was a big thing. It was a steel town, and that's what built it up back in the day. According to the last census, there is 5,205 people living there. So it's lost about half of its population from its height, and that's purely because it's really cheap to live there in comparison to some surrounding areas. A lot of the houses are pretty old, they need a lot of upkeep, but it's a nice little town. I did not know the history until I started looking this up, and it's an interesting history, so I'm looking forward to reading this to you. In the 1890s, the Apollo Iron and Steel Company was in a dramatic round of industrial restructuring and labor tension, ending a bitterly contested labor dispute at its Apollo, Pennsylvania steelworks by hiring replacement workers from the surrounding countryside. To avoid future unrest, the company sought tighter control over its workers, not only at the factory but also in their homes, drawing upon the philosophy of reform movements in Europe and in the United States. The company's leader, George McMurtry, adopted what was later known as welfare capitalism, with the company going beyond paychecks to provide for the social needs of the workers by providing a benign physical environment and good housing to make for happier, more productive workers. Wanting a loyal workforce, McMurtry developed a town agenda that drew upon environmentalism as well as popular attitudes towards capital's treatment of labor. In 1895, Apollo Iron and Steel built a new integrated non-unionized steelwork and hired the nation's preeminent landscape architecture firm, Olmsted and Elliott, to design the model industrial town to be named Vandergrift for Captain J.J. Vandergrift, a director of the steel company. The Olmsted firm transitioned this agenda or translated this agenda into a urban design that included a novel combination of social reform, comprehensive infrastructure planning, and private home ownership principles. The rate of home ownership and cordial relations between the steel company and Vandergrift residents fostered loyalty amongst McMurtry's skilled workers and led to McMurtry's greatest success. In 1901, he used Vandergrift's worker residents to break the first major strike against the United States Steel Corporation. Also listed here that the St. Gertrude Roman Catholic Church and the Vandergrift Historic District are listed in the National Register of Historic Places. And that is one of the most historic places I've lived in, outside of Grand Junction, Colorado, which has a fantastic history. But I have a lot of fond memories of living in Pennsylvania. There was a lot of cool things to experience, a lot of cool things to see, and really great people to meet. The house I lived in there was atrocious. It was run down. Literally, the plumbing was held together with duct tape, like some of the drainage. One day it burst, and the landlord said, when we called to complain, "I didn't even know you lived there." Yet we had been paying rent for 6 months. I lost half of my possessions that were in storage, things I didn't want my kids to mess with, whatever, all to sewage and then later to mold because they didn't remediate the sewage. And there's not a lot of renters' rights in Pennsylvania. I found that out the hard way.
Yes, you did.
But it's one of the places I lived. Unless you have something you want to tack on.
I visited some of Pennsylvania. North of this.
No, you would have been west a little bit.
Oh, I thought west and a little north.
Yeah.
I concur. Great people. Amazing food. Really good food.
We like food.
Yeah, we do.
That's the smoked snacks. Although we've never gone into the snacks, really. We've tried.
Kind of. Then we got sucked into 100 blends. Maybe we'll revisit that idea.
That was a mistake.
I'm from the East Coast. My dad was in the Army, and I grew up on the East Coast in Germany and out here in Colorado. So, good folks out on the East Coast. Good folks all over, really. But that is very interesting. I love a lot of the architecture out there, like how they have redone a lot of the older factories, or how a lot of things are just nestled right in next to things that are still going. It's really neat.
The house I lived in was a part of a whole complex of houses, and all the houses backed up to the main city park. There's soccer fields and a baseball field, and that's where like the carnivals and festivals were held.
That's cool.
And yeah, you could tell that was the design of the town, is to have as much involvement as possible.
Very nice, very nice.
But the houses were so old. One of the houses that was built by the same person down the street, the whole front of their house fell off. Just fell off. Like all the walls were still standing, floors are great. The whole brick front of their house fell off. And they were also renters. I don't know if they were the same people, but there was nothing to protect them, and they had to leave. And anything that was on the front porch, anything that got destroyed, was just gone. They were heartbroken. It was horrible.
That's wild.
But yeah, it's about it. And congratulations again, Skylar. I tune in whenever I can, especially to the lives when and where I can. But I don't have much more interesting in my past. I've lived a lot of places where basically anywhere they can drill a oil well. And I was out there to train employees on oil field equipment and operations for a company that came out from Texas and wanted to train ex-steel workers and coal miners to work in the oil industry. And that actually, living there is when I had it. That's the first time someone actually attempted to purposefully attempt to take my life.
All right, then.
We were going back and forth with jokes. Struck a nerve. He threw an 8-pound sledgehammer at my head. He missed, obviously. I wouldn't have this. It would look even worse. So there's a little extra tidbit for you. Not everybody's open to jokes that they participate in. But anyway, I'll end this instead of continuing to yammer. Thanks for the opportunity, Skylar, and I hope that you get plenty of new presenters participating. That's a great option you've given them, and I hope people take advantage. We'll see you later.